Hey, what's up, guys? One more episode today with Thomas Fogarty.
Hello guys, hello.
Yeah, the Irish Australian guy. Not joking.
Yeah.
Tom, we train together at Fight Club.
Yep.
He's such an interesting person, like always, like a nice and kind person, at the same time a funny guy. Always with fun stories and hi Tom, thanks for coming.
Thanks Paulo, thanks for having me on the podcast.
Yeah, thank you for coming. You have Tom, if you don't know, he has his own podcast.
Yeah, the Fogcast, gotta get the plug in.
Yeah, plugins right here at Fogcast official.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, Tom's like very passionate with like MMA, but also like he has a coach of sports in his family. So
Yeah.
he was born in Melbourne.
I was born in Melbourne, moved up to the Gold Coast when I was about 4 years old, and I started playing sports when I was 5, originally with ice hockey. So I used to watch them, when I was a kid I used to watch the Mighty Ducks.
Yeah,
You ever
yeah.
see the Mighty Ducks?
Yeah.
When I was a kid that was the coolest movie in the world, so I was like, oh, I want to do that, you know what I mean? So, but obviously on the Gold Coast, ice hockey's not the best sport to want to play, like it's 35 degrees most days. So my parents had to drive me from Currumbin Valley, where we were living at the time, up to Bundall when I was like 5 years old. There was the only ice hockey rink on the Gold Coast, and they didn't even really have a team for like kids my age. So, you should see the photos, man. I'm like 5 years old and I've got pads this big, you know, my helmet's this big, and I'm
The gear was bigger than you.
The gear was bigger than me, exactly. But yeah, I ended up playing ice hockey and training up there for like 2 years.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, until my parents kind of got sick of it, and they were like, you know, I don't want to do the drive and that kind of thing. But like, I used to want to, when I was that age, I wanted to go to Canada and be in the NHL, and I was like, I've always been a dreamer, you know. I was like, I want to go there.
That's the goal.
Yeah, exactly. But then when my parents stopped taking me up there, I got into Taekwondo, and that was down in Currumbin. So I did Taekwondo for about a year or two. I was a yellow belt, fierce little yellow belt when I was about 7 years old. So I did Taekwondo for a little bit, which I really enjoyed, but I was a kid and I wanted to do so many different things, so I chopped and changed. After I did Taekwondo, I ended up getting into rugby union, because dad's a Kiwi, so it's usually rugby league up here, but in my household it's rugby union.
The passion, the rugby.
Yeah,
is good. I prefer from Brazil. I prefer more action.
Yeah.
Rugby union, they have more action.
Yeah, well, it's non-stop.
Not talking down the NRL.
Yeah, you don't know who's listening.
Please,
Yes.
guys, we like all
We like
kinds
all
of sports. Yeah, that's it. And then like you always like being like involved with like, you always like making jokes and everything. You're kind of a natural comedian.
Yeah, so I also did like lots of drama at school. I was the drama kid at school, so I was really sporty and really outgoing as well. But I did drama as soon as I got to Eleanor Primary School when I was about 11, and then I was drama vice captain. And like as soon as I heard drama was a thing, and you got to stand up in front of people and be silly and get a reaction, like a good reaction, and like, I was like, wow, I'm allowed to do this, you know what I mean? This is a good thing, and I get graded for it. I was like, this is great. So I ended up doing that all through high school, and I was in the school plays and stuff like that. Always loved performing, and then now it's kind of materialized into the podcast where I get to just
his personal podcast. We're gonna put all the links and to the podcast and how to reach Tom on the description, but you should go there. Like I always like have like good laugh. Yeah. When I see your
hopefully
videos and everything.
Yeah.
It's always good.
Yeah. I try to just be lighthearted and, you know, talk shit, just to be, you know, just be myself really.
Yeah, good. You're getting back to sports. You said that you did like all the rugby union, and how long did you play rugby?
I played rugby union for about 7 or 8 years, and then I was always a really small kid. I was always the shortest kid in the class, which is why I'm the loudest as well, I think as well, you know. But I was always a short kid, so when it got to when I was like 16, on the Gold Coast, man, like Narang and stuff, big Māori boys, you know, like they had beards and you know, kids on the sideline cheering them on, so they were like full grown men to me, and I was little runt, so I was like, I don't think I'm going to be in the Wallabies, so I might stop playing rugby for a little bit.
A bit too much, eh?
Yeah, got a bit too much for me.
But you didn't fall in love with the tackles and everything and start like training Jiu-Jitsu?
Yeah, well, it's funny, man. Like, after I left school, I became a DJ for a while. I was working in like nightclubs, and I was DJing house parties, and I used to get paid like $500 a night. Me and my friend would do these DJ parties and get $500 a night and get paid to party. And I was like, oh man, this is unreal. Like, really, we're getting paid to party? But then it kind of got to the point where I was like, I was drinking too much, smoking, like all the rest of it. And I was like, man, this isn't sustainable.
How old were you?
I was it was from like 18 to 20, I did that. And then I kind of stopped doing that because I was like, this is not the lifestyle I want to live, you know? And I ended up becoming a bartender as well, which was good at the time for money and stuff, but I'm still in that world, you know? I'm in the world of alcohol and drinking during the week and thinking it was just kind of like the normal. And then it wasn't until one day randomly I was down at Palm Beach Hotel, actually. I was watching the UFC because I've always been a big fight fan. Yeah. And this guy called me over to watch the fights with him, who's now a good friend of mine, who's actually the first guest on the podcast, Daz Kolovos.
Nice.
The first
check
guest.
it out.
Yeah, check it out. Link in the bio. Good friend of mine asked me to come down and try a jiu-jitsu class out because we were watching the fights, and he's like, man, you seem really into it. You seem like you know a lot what you're talking about.
He's still training now?
Yeah, so he's an MMA fighter. He's just had his first amateur. Yeah. He's the real deal.
Yo.
Yeah. But he took me down to my first jiu-jitsu class, and man, I just loved it. I loved every part of it. You couldn't wipe the smile off my face the whole time. I think the first move I learned was an Americana, and put the Americana, I never forget, I put the Americana on, felt a tap, and I'm like, oh my god, this is powerful. I was like, and always being the smaller guy, and jiu-jitsu, you know, is the small man's martial arts, so I just fell in love with it instantly. And I was like, how do I do this more, you know what I mean? I wanted to train 5 days a week, and and it's funny, because with jiu-jitsu, it's like anything, everything costs money to do, and it was about $40 a week. And at the time, I was still smoking cigarettes, and it was like $40 is what I'd spend a week on cigarettes.
Oh my god!
So I'd spend $40 on.
It's so expensive.
So expensive, man. I'd spend $40 on like a pouch of cigarettes and papers and filters and all the bells and whistles. And then jiu-jitsu classes were like $35 a week. And I was like, okay, so if I stop smoking and if I start jiu-jitsu, that's like an equal trade-off to me. I was like, I can rationalize that in my head. So then I stopped smoking, stopped drinking, started doing jiu-jitsu, and I just never looked back, man. It completely changed my life. Now
that's amazing.
The martial arts life for me.
Yeah, it's impressive. Like a lot of people say, like, jiu-jitsu saved my life. People cannot understand.
Yeah.
Of course, you're not on that bad, but like, it can change lives. Like just because like of the, I do it. Like I don't have the same purpose of most of the guys competing and everything, but it's something that's really, really important for my mental health.
Yeah.
It's the place that I just like don't think.
Exactly.
I have to try to survive.
It's all cerebral. It's a language, but done with your body. You know, like. Yeah. And all your troubles. You can't think about your troubles when you're in a guillotine.
I think the main thing, like, you have to deal with your ego.
Yeah.
Because it can get, but it can get caught. So
yeah, exactly.
That's the beauty of jiu-jitsu.
What's what they say? Leave your ego at the door.
Yeah. That's oops. Something fell out here.
Technical difficulties.
Part of the podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so good to hear. So now you're pretty much like competing every single competition. You focus on that. You're fit, getting stronger.
Yeah, I love
getting sharp.
Yeah, getting there.
And if you roll with him, you're gonna understand what I'm saying. Like a lot of different ways. He has his ways, 35 arms. He has like 180 degrees of flexibility in all single joint.
I stretch a lot. Yeah. Well, I'm not a big strong guy, so my game's flexible and technical. That's what I try to be.
Yeah, you have to find your way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, good. That's beautiful, man. And, how did you came up with all the idea of the podcast and everything?
I don't even know. It was something I'd always wanted to do. Like when I was a kid, I don't know if you know, but there was a Australian comedian on TV called Rove McManus. Do you ever know Rove? You might have missed him. Well, he was a smaller guy and he had his own talk show, kind of like a Jay Leno or like a guy like this. And he was the Australian version. And I used to watch him every Sunday when I was a kid, and I was like, man, I want to do that. That's what I want to do. Like small guy, everyone loves him. Just gets to talk shit with his friends and laugh and interview celebrity. I was like, man, that seems like the best lifestyle ever. So I always had that as like a dream. So just with this, like, I mean, you've got a podcast. It's such a good time for for this, like,
Yeah, nowadays.
in this day and age, you know. So I was like, well, why can't I have a podcast, you know?
Yeah.
And then, yeah, it just kind of materialized that way. So it's just always been like a dream of mine to host my own show or kind of have an outlet for my personality, I guess.
Yes. Put it out, your character as well. And it's so good, like, if you hear his episodes, he talk about like the day by day life and all the things we have, like mainly like about the patterns and the stereotypes we have nowadays,
especially
social life. Mainly about I love the plate stuff you do, like the black plates.
Black plates, the license
black plates. They want to talk about the chicks. But like another good side of a podcast, you always commenting about the all UFCs. And give you idea and all but you have always a good insight about that. That's really good.
Oh, good. Thank you. I try anyway.
And now, stay tuned because now you're going to start to do like some interviews and everything. So
so now I'm going to start getting some guests on the podcast as well. So it's not just me. If you were bored with just me, I'm going to start.
Not at all, man. You're good. I was talking to this like it's so easy to talk, to listen. Because you talk like how creative, how you think like. So
man, my mind is just going a million miles a minute always. That's why I was like, I think I need someone there to slow me down. Sometimes that's why I do half an hour. It gets a bit crazy.
No, that's good. But that's the idea. We have to go with the flow. That's the goal. Do you have like about like sports and everything? Like do you? I saw that you also like comment a little bit about the AFL games and everything. Do you have a team that you cheer?
I've always followed St Kilda. The Saints. They're not the best team, but this year they're looking good. They're looking good this year.
Hopefully gonna get there.
They've only won one premiership ever, but so they're like they're an underdog team. But that's who my dad goes for, and I'm sure you go for the team that your dad went for in football.
Actually.
No. Your poor dad.
Well, my team is much better. My team is 8-time national champion.
So you made the right decision.
Once, I think.
That's me as well.
It's the suffering team. Like,
I just picked it to hold on to with my dad. I'm like, it's all good, Dad. We'll get there one day.
At least you can drink on the wins, on the losses.
Have some whiskey. Exactly. We can cry together.
Another thing I would just to bring up to like you just talking about NRL and everything, like, and you did like fair bit of NRL. Rugby union. And a lot of tackles and motion and everything. But your first experience of the cauliflower year was in the Jiu-Jitsu.
I know.
How was that story? So fun.
I know. Well, like I always wore a headgear when I was playing rugby, so I always had like the headgear because my dad was like, you don't want to get cauliflower ears. He's always like, cauliflower ears are gross. You don't want cauliflower ears. You don't want one of those guys walking around with cauliflower ears. And I was like, oh, okay. And like I'd done a few tackles and I felt my ear kind of get a bit red, but